That's okay, that's gonna look good on film. That's gonna be okay. Take me through the process of bringing a new song to the group. How does that process work for you guys? Is it something that's fairly flushed out before you bring it there, or is it something that you bring in a really rough state? Everybody sort of does their part to it. Take me through that process.
The songwriting process for us always varies. We have a lot of songs where I'll write a song, I'll start a song on acoustic guitar, have, basically already written out in its basic form. Then I'll bring it to the guys and we'll all just kind of sit around and play and see what happens, and they'll have ideas and it starts growing from there. A lot of times even we'll test it out at different live shows and mainly work arrangements and tones. That's what we focus on. But songwriting varies. Sometimes I'll come up with a song in the shower or something where it's just, or in a dream, I just have like a one melody that comes to mind. And then I'll be like, come up to Chris first and be like, hey, what can we use this in? Or like, is this possible? Like, can you play this? And then bring it to the band, and we're trying to even do some more experimental things on our next record. Just trying new things to kind of keep songwriting exciting and a fun thing to mess with. Just where we're all going to be playing and see what happens, and maybe have them start first. And
we use we have a massive amount of ideas in our group text messages. Actually, that's where a lot of our ideas kind of passed around. They'll send me a file that's just them playing and say, hey, what do you think about this? Maybe try something on drums. I'll try something on drums and pass back to them. We definitely, we use technology in fun to do that. But
luxury of modern songwriting.
yeah.
Just like email someone a file, hey, this is what we're working on.
Has songwriting, music, the way that music gets transferred back and forth, even between band members, is obviously subject to technology, but has songwriting actually been affected by technology? Do you see everything around you in the world as a song?
I think it has, being that you can now, on a computer screen, cut up a song into a million pieces and rearrange it without even playing an instrument. You can play a song through and then completely rearrange the song to a different order. And that's basically, you can do that for technology. And I think even the basic arrangement of modern music has changed a lot. Your verse, chorus, verse, chorus, out. Anymore. Modern music is a lot different.
But the root of a song itself, doesn't change, I think. But I think that technology, it helps. You can utilize technology, and you can use it in some ways that you've never been able to do that before. So sometimes as a Don, I'm not the best with technology, but I'll write songs on scrap pieces of paper, and even there, it's never organized. Things will be on a napkin here, like on my phone another day, on the computer, on a piece of paper. Just collecting how I collect ideas, and it's always changing.
One thing that's changed a little bit is there's a lot of music out there. So technology, and I know it's controversial, but we're exposed to a lot more music, and that really helps us in the writing process. But its foundation, typically Angela with an acoustic guitar writes a song and brings it to us the next day almost, and then we start playing it, working it, trying to make it flow. And originally when we met, it was, we heard Angela's music, we really were inspired by it. We got together and started playing the songs that she had already written before she had met us. But as we've grown close as a band, she started writing songs with us in mind, and she's inspired by us. We drive around, like I said, in the van, we listen to music, we know what each person likes. We share music with her that she likes, and then that inspires her. So I think Jeff was right about technology as far as moving things around. We did experiment with that a little bit, like in Hurricane, but for the most part, when I can play you the Hurricane the night that she wrote it, and it's very similar to how it turned out. And obviously, we had intros, we had riffs. Billy comes up with some great ideas on bass. Maybe we'll start a song. You know, she's got this lyric and this core effect, this core idea. And then Billy will come up and say, hey, let's just do this thing. He's got this like Motown riff that'll start and it brings some excitement to us. But you know, technology, it's important, but at the end of the day, she's sitting there with an acoustic guitar and writing a song. Brings it to us and we flesh it out. The songs that we have on the Hey Kid record, we played those songs for about, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 years as a band before we recorded them. We were dying to record those songs. And over the course of that time, you start to, if you hone it, we're fearful of recording a song right when it's written. Because we know how much it grows over the course of a year, 2 years. And we know that even songs that we write, or that she writes and then we work out, we know that they're going to grow over time, so we want to make sure that if you record something pretty quickly, it's going to change over the year. Now, over the course of the year, now it's not the same that it was on the record. So, but that was one of the cool things about the last record, was that songs were able to grow. So we're hoping to get new songs and start playing those a lot before we go in the studio. And then obviously when you go in the studio, you start, like tonight, you're very aware that things are being recorded is going to be pretty permanent. So you think about the intros, like how songs will start, how it's going to end, is they're going to be able, you start thinking about the little details of the song. And that's part of the recording process too. You know, you're sitting there, you have, you know, we had technology in here tonight with you back working the soundboard and you're recording things, you can tell what the waveforms coming in right. So, new technologies to get to.
Yeah, well, Hurricane was, there's a couple songs on our record that were kind of last minute. Hurricane was actually, the record was done, and then I wrote it, and I just had a very loose sketch of it, and our producer was like, what's that song? And so we kind of put it down, and that was the first time that we actually did use technology to kind of benefit, because we recorded it, we tracked it first, the basic version of it, and listening to it back, and really were kind of just evaluating what should we do with this, we put this here, and it's exciting. There's great things you can do with recording nowadays that's really helped us and push us further.
Yeah. Are you recording live?
Not really.
Well, we haven't recorded live yet. Not really. We've done a couple live things tonight. That's the longest stint. We've done a couple of
You should.
We've done a couple live things. We'd like to do more. Yeah, it's a great experience.
Band of Heathens took their audio from this show,
Yeah.
and they put it on their live bootleg album.
Oh,
So it's, you know, you sound great live. You just sound great. Now you mentioned tonight a couple of times, so you played all over the place, played in all kinds of different kinds of rooms and stuff like that. Talk about this room.
This room is amazing. As soon as we walk in here, we're like, wow, this has a very intimate, it's an intimate room. We all get to mingle before the show, get to talk. That, to us, making a personal connection with people is the most important thing about this. One of the, obviously music, it's somewhat of a selfish thing because we're playing music, we just love to do it. But the plus side is getting to meet all these wonderful people. And you take that everywhere you go. Everywhere we go, when we travel to, we meet new people, and we never forget those people. And then we become a network of friends all throughout the country. We have, you know, we come to a town one time, we make some connections, we come back. It's like we start seeing similar faces, familiar faces, and it makes us feel very comfortable and happy. And those are new friends we have. So it's a very special experience. This is a wonderful room, wonderful environment. Felt very comfortable and warm here. So this is very special.
Yeah, the decor is incredible. And then also, you're very excited about music. You come in here, it's infectious. There's other people here that are excited about music, and we are too. So we feel a connection with people immediately that are like us in that respect.
It's easy to be excited when it's that good.
The writing, you're not really writing from any kind of a, social point of view, not making social statements. But I think there's some hidden stuff down there. It's buried a little bit, but it's there. If you dig, I think you'll find that there are some statements that are being made there. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had, even I think when I first met the band, they were attracted to my lyrics and songs because we all had a similar angst, but in a critical way of thinking, I guess, and that does pop its head in some songs, even some songs that seem really happy. There's these little hidden messages, or just not, I don't know. Things get put in there, and I think with songwriting you just have to be really honest, and whatever comes out. And there's all little bites, and I'm always like, you're so nice, but it's like it's like I have opinions and stuff, so I try to squeeze those in there. And it's one way that so songwriting for me, it's a way that I can really express myself. A lot of times I have trouble talking or just in general trying to put things into words. But with songs, it's an abstract form of writing that you can really channel a feeling and a message in songs. So there might be some hidden, social messages in there.
Do you ever get tempted to maybe address the shit sandwich that your generation's going to inherit?
Definitely. Trying to think.
You're going to be, by the time you get to be my age, and
That old?
it's going to be.
What you're saying is good luck.
Pretty much. I mean, I didn't have a lot to do with it. Pretty low carbon footprint. But have you ever been tempted to really take on a big social issue?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just write what I write. I haven't intentionally put anything. It's little slips of things get into songs. It's just what I'm thinking, but I don't know if I've intentionally yet said okay, this song is going to be about pollution.
I don't think we're going to do the next Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah. There's some little messages in there. We have a song called Johnny Boy. The whole chorus is kind of like, flowers for my Johnny, but the kind of message is, that Johnny died because he was a soldier, and it's a mourning song. It's a really sad song, but some people will pick up on the lyrics, and so that may be the one that has the most kind of message to it. And I don't even know if it's a political message, but it's just about it's a love song, and
You're honoring him.
yeah, definitely.
How long have you guys been together as the foursome?
2010, well, 2009 or 2008 did we kind of meet each other. 2010 was our first recordings, and was when it first really came together, but I would say 2009, maybe we not the best of time.
That's an accurate assessment, 2008, 2009. Actually, Billy's got it before you.
He has
The
more
first
of
gig
it.
was December 27th, 2008.
I love my cafe, right?
Correct. Specifics.
It was a good Christmas.
It's all right.
I feel like a lot of our first gigs or CD releases have always been in the winter. I don't know why, but yes.
It's four just, pardon the English, but this is just four massive motherfucker players. What would you like an audience like this to come away with after an evening with Angela, Pearlie, and Howard, besides some merch?
The main thing I want people to come away with at our shows is just to have felt something, and to have been touched in some way, whether it's that our songs moved you, and in whatever way they did that, that is what makes us, that's what really, I guess, gets across to us, and what I get out of it.
I think people should maybe just come with an open mind and heart and absorb what they do and walk away with whatever they do.
Right.
Because we're being honest, and hopefully people realize that and they walk away and honestly appreciate that.
Playing music puts you in a very vulnerable position, and sometimes not everyone has different opinions and different tastes, and even with like recording styles, different bands you like, everyone is so opinionated. So we just have to always keep doing what we're doing, and if someone, gets something out of that, that's what's great for us. And yeah, it's something for everybody, but we love playing it when it does move someone. It means a lot.
There's also obviously sometimes people walk there with friendship. We do have a connection with a lot of people who come to our shows, and we meet a lot of great friends just because I guess we're playing music that we feel like we love, and it touches somebody, and then we have something in common. And typically that starts a conversation, and we've made incredible amounts of friends just playing music, and people that enjoy our music, we've gotten really close with. So hopefully some friendship as well. That's possible.
I mean, what was it like last week? We were in Asheville. We met these guys at our show, and they just loved. Like we had a cool connection built with them because we played a 3-hour set, and I stayed the whole time. That's a lot of music to watch. I don't care what band. And then we hung out with these guys. They live down the street from the band. We hung out with them till 4 in the morning. Yeah, that's like they had a dog named Gatorade. Next time we go to Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the guys we're calling and saying, hey, Zach, we want to hang out. So that's the kind of.
Chris and I had hats on, and they had some hats. They were like, "We got some hats. If you want some hats, we got some hats." I don't care. Like, no, it's okay. They gave us records. And yeah, it was really, that connection that we made with people was undescribable.
That's a great music scene down there, too.
It's
Really, really hot
It's
music
amazing.
scene.
Yeah.
It's it is.
Yeah, really, really good music scene. Close it out with something that you'd like to just say about, just anything that you would want to say to, 2.5 million people that have access to this television show. Just close it with something that, something about music, something about,
I'm just the drummer. He's got all kinds of ideas.
We just want to just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully the fan base grows, and we're doing it kind of grassroots, and it feels good doing it like that. So when we connect with people like you, it means a lot, and it gives us the gumption to keep going. It isn't easy. Two kids at home. I miss that very much. My wife too. But just honored and just totally pleased to do what we do. And thanks to people like you.
Any questions?
So you're a lot more than this, but it's a number of your songs made me think of you guys were like teletransported out of the 70s. It's not the only thing you do, but there's a large element of that in what you do. So does that come out of your songwriting, or does that come out of your collaboration?
It's a little bit of both. I think I've
What's out of
always...
the iPod playlist?
I think we listen to a lot of 70s music. I don't know why. It never... when I grew up, I was listening to a lot of like 50s music too. And we all have a wide variety of tastes. But when we come together, I think our style of playing kind of meshes, and it tends to sound like that. And it hasn't always. It's grown. It was a lot more folk oriented when we started as a band, and a lot of trained beats, and things have gotten pushed further. We've gotten a lot more psychedelic on some of our songs, and we've been just listening to a lot of music. It's a great air. Not that we want to be stuck in. We don't want to be like.
Well,
But there's a lot of I think it's the influence of music. Really.
Well, you have a style. You're a guitar lead. It's your bass playing. I've not heard, and I've not heard drums like that. And it's you guys are each very, very good at what you do, and it's the personality of your music. It tends to be more of that era of where you just want to lay it out there, and it's interesting, being a gray-haired person as I am to watch you.
I think it has a lot to do with. She's not your normal songwriter.
No.
I've played around a lot. So have these guys. If we played some of the stuff we play behind a normal, like some songwriters, they just turn around and go, "Get out of here." So it gives us the freedom to screw around a lot. And it's worked out. So.
Yeah, it took a little while because when we first started, she was a songwriter. She is a songwriter, but we got to make sure that we're taking care of the song. There's a responsibility there as a guitar player. I can't just. It's more important to me to make sure the song is preserved, to honor her vision of the song. So that's a skill that I'm trying to pursue. But in the meantime, I love the '70s. So Bill Zane and I were playing music together before we even met Angela, and we've been playing. So actually that's helped. The connection between Bill and I has helped with our band. But the more we've spent time together, the more I've been able to cut loose a little bit without offending the song. And she's actually, the more time we spend together, she actually writes songs. She knows what we feel, and she will deliver songs. We inspire her, and then all of a sudden she's writing a song. It's like, that's the greatest song I've ever heard. I cannot wait to play guitar on this song. It gives us the freedom to cut loose a little bit. So I think maybe some of the '70s sounds have come out in that.
We grew up. But ultimately, it's love, trust, and respect.
Wow.
There's a lot of other influences in you too. You could take the beginning of Athens, and if you were playing on the piano, that could be Tori Amos.
Yeah,
It's a great song.
It's a great song. And then you get this, wall of sound that just kicks in behind this, and it just, one of the best guitar players I think we've had in this room. There's a great guitar player.
Sometimes Angela will be playing a song, and my ears will perk up, and I'll go, "Wow, that is incredible." Most of the songs she writes, really touch me. So, but every once in a while she'll play a song that she didn't necessarily think of bringing to the band, and I'll hear it, and I'll be like, "Wow, that's." Athens is one of those where late night after hours parties, she's playing Athens. She didn't think that was a band song. She thought that's just an acoustic song. It's not going to ever. It wouldn't work for the band. And I convinced her to, hey, I really want to add a little bit on that. I did a rehearsal, and once the band kicked in, and it's slowly grown into the wall of sound that it is now. At first, like I said earlier, we didn't want to do that at first. We wanted to kind of warm her up to that idea. And
That was a good decision. Great decision. And it's cool that it's the first song I've ever heard about the other Athens.
Right.
There's two. Nobody really knows about the one in Ohio. Nobody knows about the one in Georgia.
We were in Georgia, we're like, Athens, Georgia?
Sorry to break it to you.
Have you played in Athens,
Columbus,
Ohio?
and they're like, you're from Columbus, Georgia? Like, you guys don't seem like you're from
We've been in Athens, Ohio many times.
Yeah.
Is the Blue Frog still there, or whatever's the name of that?
No. Oh, the Blue Gator.
Blue Gator, that's
No,
it.
unfortunately,
No?
it's down. It's like, for some reason they've gone through a lot of venues, but the ones that have stayed around is Casa, Nueva, and Cantina too, where we play. There's Jackie's Brewery, which actually their beer is starting to kind of go everywhere now. Their beer's really good.
If it gets to Massachusetts, they're gonna sue. They're not gonna get away with anything Jackie though in Massachusetts except Jackie. I've got a bunch of great stuff to use here. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Otherwise, let's give them a hand.
More.
You just leave that. Hang over it. No.
Blueberry beer.
Oh.
It's actually not.
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir. You have one?
Eric.
Yep.
You gonna bring us your house?
Sure.